Hey everyone, so I just wanted to expand a little bit on what I was talking about with my £1,000 game in a video a few days ago. What you want to try and aim for with any part of the game is to be able to focus on the movement and not on the result. And a good way to expand on that is to explain a story about, I used to teach this guy who played off 3 handicap, really good player, and he used to hit the ball over 300 yards. He was one of the longest hitters I'd seen, and his irons were great as well, but he didn't really shoot low scores considering how far he hit the ball and how well he hit the ball, because he'd often have a par 4 where he would drive, say, 20-30 yards short of the green and then end up with a 5 or a 6 because he would duff the first pitch and then thin the next one to the back and then take 3 putts. And he really had, I would classify as the yips with the pitching. And we went through all sorts of things technically initially to try and change that, and to be honest, hardly made any difference at all. And then I tried an idea with him one day, and it was like flicking a switch, and it's similar to the £1,000 game. But what I said to him was that, imagine I'm standing there where the video is now, and imagine we're making a movie, and all you've got to do is look convincing. The camera is never going to pan and watch the result. It's always going to stay on you. So you need to actually sort of focus on making it, faking it basically, making it feel real and making it sort of look as though you actually hit a good shot, even if it's only gone a couple of feet in front of you. And it was like flicking a switch. He focused on the movement. Suddenly, as soon as the result didn't matter, then he focused on the way he was moving his body, which is what you need to actually get a good result anyway. So he went from doing a practice swing where he would sort of go through and trust it and finish in that position because his understanding and his execution of the technique on the practice swing was great, and then he'd go to the shot and he would get really fast and he would sort of hit the ground behind the ball, and the movement would be completely different. And then as soon as we changed to this idea where I said, right, making a movie, I'm not going to move the camera, all you got to do is make it look good, just literally make it look convincing. So he then would step up to the shot and he'd focus totally on the movement until the very end of the swing, and the result would take care of itself. And like anything, once he'd sort of hit a few good ones and built his confidence, then he started to trust it, and it wasn't an instant, but it made an instant difference, and then he was able to really build on that. So I say this sort of phrase or this explanation to people all the time, and I find that you can see that very few people actually take it on board. Very few people are really executing it. And what I say to them is that you want to focus on the movement until you've completely finished the movement. So short shots, this is the reason I'm showing you on a pitching movement, in that short shots like short putts or short chips and pitches are the best example of it. People get to about here in the swing and they focus on the result and not on the execution. And like I said to you before, keeping your head down is not a solution, because you can keep your head down and still scoop the ball or fall back onto your back foot. So much better description is to understand how you got to move, but focus on the movement until you finish the movement. So if I'm doing a pitch shot, I would basically do my practice swing, focus on the movement, and then step forwards to the ball, and then I'd hit the shot, focus on the movement and hold the finish position and see if it's the same, and then afterwards I would look up to see where the ball's gone. So very much like execute, hold it, did I do it? Yes, look up to see where it's gone. And if you can do that, it transforms the shots. And again, this is something that's perfect for you to practice while we're all in the garden, while we're all sort of practicing the movement without too much of a result to focus on. So on all the shots you can really use this, but especially on the short game. And a great little tip, just to leave you with one last thought on this note, is to guess how far the ball has gone without looking. So I get people to do this on sort of putting and pitching and chipping especially. I get them to actually say, right, before you look, I want you to guess if it's 6 feet short, 6 feet past or whatever. So I get them to hit the shot, hold the finish. Okay, yeah, that feels 10 feet short. Look up and see if they're right or not. So 2 things it does. One is it gets them to focus on the movement and how hard they've hit the ball, which is what they should be focused on. And the second thing is that gets them to focus off the result and how they're moving. So it gets you to focus on the movement and the actual strength of the movement, which are those are the parts that you should be focusing on anyway. So I hope that helps.